waiting, going like, what the fuck, man? Why are you making them wait? All right, there we go. Woo! How's everybody doing? Welcome to episode 225 of Randsanity. I've been doing this for 225 days straight. If I did this weekly, I'd be doing this for 4.5 years at this point. So I've got the whole routine down under my belt. I feel like an expert. I've only been doing this for 35 years. This is sort of the music, news, history, stuff, information. We'll talk a little bit of stuff, some concert stuff, some band stuff, some entertainment stuff, some births, some deaths, and all those things in between. All right? Perfect. We're going to start off with a band tour because there's very few bands that exemplify the gloominess of these guys. They are the indie rock band, another one that's going to celebrate their 20th anniversary, 30th anniversary, 20th anniversary tour, whatever. Anyway, Band of Horses. They just announced a tour in celebration of their 20th anniversary of their debut album, Everything All the Time. Of course, featuring The Funeral, which is, everybody knows that song. If you know Band of Horses, you know Funeral. It's one of those tear-jerker songs that it's as gloomy as it gets when it comes to it. But they'll be kicking off a spring tour featuring around the album this March, beginning with the 3 hometown shows in Seattle. And the tour comes hand in hand with the album's reissue on March 20th via Sub Pop label, the band's longtime label. They've had them from the beginning. The reissued album will consist of a 19-track expanded edition featuring the 2005 tour EP unreleased studio and live version with demos and other rarities. They announced on Instagram that they're playing Everything All the Time in full as well. They'll be playing their favorites as well, so come on and join us, they said. The announcement post says, y'all Street Journal members, the information you need to buy tickets is in the app. For the rest of us, you can grab tickets 10 o'clock Friday, January 16th. So tickets go on sale this Friday. It looks like the tour is going to be stopping through most of the country. It starts in March and does Washington, 3 shows, Portland, then it goes to Massachusetts, New York, PA, Jersey, New York, Maryland, New York, PA, Detroit, Cleveland, Ohio. So they're just up the road from me. Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Kansas, and they end March or May 2nd in Columbia, Missouri. So Midwest, looks like you're going to get a show for Band of Horses. So not to be missed if you're a fan. It's a great album, and they're always a good band to see live. My suggestion is go see Band of Horses. That's my take. That's my pick. I will do my best to go see them myself. I do love those guys. We've had them at the station a few times. They're always nice, but they're definitely sort of, emo kind of alt rock dudes, with their beards and their flannels, and they're definitely Seattle guys for sure. Me, I'm not a beard guy. So, I shave every single day. I grew a mustache once for Movember. It came in like a push broom. It was like, I was like, oh my God, my mustache is huge. After a month, it was literally like, took over half my face. So no, not a facial hair guy. Just not me. Anyway, let's start off a little history then with the Beatles. They appeared on the ATV show Sunday night at the London Palladium performing I Want to Hold Your Hand, This Boy, All My Loving, Money, and Twist and Shout. Now, it appeared with this show, and it cost them in October about $450. And 3 months later, they were charging $1,200. Wow, that's crazy. Shit, you could barely even get a ticket for $1,200 to see Paul McCartney when he came here this last time. How times have changed, right? It's In 1969, Led Zeppelin's debut album, released in the UK, recorded at Olympia Stadium in Barnes, London. The album took only 36 hours of studio time to complete at a cost of just under $2,000. Most of the tracks being recorded live in the studio with very few overdubs. The album spent a total of 71 weeks on the UK chart. Now, I would love for a band to be able to do that nowadays. Literally take 36 hours in the studio to knock it off with very few overdubs and cost $2,000. You can't even get a producer to like shake your hand for $2,000. That's crazy. You gotta love that. In 1974, the Steve Miller Band were #1 on the U.S. singles chart with The Joker. It was the band's first of 3 #1s. It reached #1 in the UK in 1990. So 1974 is when it was released, and it made it to #1 in the US, and it didn't make it till #1 in the UK until 1990, almost 20 years later. Wow. I mean, what'd they send it over on? A rowboat? I don't understand how it didn't like get there sooner. Just me. I'm just saying. Yeah, okay, I don't really care about that one. The punkest band in the world ever. And this is funny, okay? Because in 1977, EMI Records issued a statement saying it felt unable to promote the Sex Pistols records in view of the adverse publicity generated over the last 2 months. Well, because, you know, God save the Queen. But oddly enough, that was 1977, okay? Only 5 years later. 5 years later, it was reported that the White House, yes, our White House, in this country, the United States of America, had expanded its record library by including albums by Bob Dylan, Kiss, and the Sex Pistols. What the hell? I love that so much. So I forget who was president in 1981. Was that Ronald Reagan probably? I mean, but that's brilliant. All right? Their EMI, their label won't deal with them in 1977, and less than 5 years later, America's like, fuck it, we'll put him in the White House. I love that. Nothing could be better for me. Now see, here's the first of a couple of bad actors. Rolling Stone's Keith Richards was fined $1,275 for possession of cocaine found in his car after the guitarist had been involved in a car accident in 1977. What? And why did we get into the car accident, Keith Richards? Because you were on cocaine? I mean, don't sniff and drive, Keith. Just saying. 1977, the band The Police had their first rehearsal. They held it at drummer Stuart Copeland's London flat with Henry Padova on guitar. All right, that's fun. No, I'm not going to report that because I don't really care about that one. Okay, 1992. Now this is, again, Fly Private for the Love of God. Bob Geldof, Sir Bob Geldof, Boomtown Rats, Bob Geldof, Live Aid. Okay, that Bob Geldof. He was arrested after a disturbance on a Boeing 727, which had been grounded for 5 hours at Stansted Airport. What the hell, Bob Geldof? Arrested for a disturbance on a Boeing 727. Just chill out. Fly private. You have the money. Just saying. 1993, Irish singer and songwriter Van Morrison failed to turn up at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction dinner, making him the first living inductee not to attend. That seems like a diss right there. I guess unless you were in a car accident or in a coma. Man, Van, that's kind of uncool right there, ladies and gentlemen. Van the man with the plan doesn't show up. And who else got charged with drugs? 1995. Maybe the man who smokes 80 blunts a day. Mr. Snoop Doggy Dogg was charged in Los Angeles with possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia. It did not say how much, So I'm curious as to the copious amounts of marijuana that he was actually caught with. I can't imagine that it was just like a single spliff, being that if he smoked 80 joints a day, as reported by himself, that's like ounces a day. Ounces. Ah, Snoop. 1996, AC/DC played the first date of their Ball Breaker World Tour in Greensboro, North Carolina. The World Tour would last for 11 months, finishing on November 30th, 1996 in Christchurch, New Zealand. All right, that's pretty world tour. If you start in Greensboro, North Carolina, and you end in New Zealand, that's pretty much expanding the world, I'd say, after 11 months. I'll give them that. Now, they are going to play here this summer at Columbus, Ohio, at the Ohio State University football stadium. I'm sure I'm going to go to that, work it, attend it, do something. We'll do something fun with that one. So, and again, fly commercial. You have the damn money. British Airways staff complained about Oasis singer Liam Gallagher. Shocking. Shocking that Liam Gallagher would be complained about. Apparently, he grabbed a stewardess's bottom. I mean, come on, is that about cliche as possible? You grabbed a stewardess's ass on an airplane? Come on, Liam. What the hell? He refused to stop smoking, I can see that, and threw objects around the cabin during a flight from London to Rio de Janeiro. Fly private. You have the damn money. What is with that? It's just, I don't get it. I want to know. I really, really want to know. Explain to me how you don't fly private when you have the money. You just trying to get in trouble? And then this one is even worse. Aaliyah had the posthumous UK #1 single with More Than a Woman because Aaliyah was killed in August of 2001 in a plane crash in the Bahamas at the age of 22. The Cessna plane crashed a few minutes after taking off, killing everyone on board. Aaliyah had been filming a video on the island for her latest release, Rock the Boat. And if you read what actually happened, it's because she had this Cessna, which is, a Cessna is like a small, light aircraft. Small, light aircraft. She had it loaded with like enough equipment to fit into a tour van. What? Just fly private, not on a puddle jumper. What? Just, I guess I don't understand, all these bands that die in plane crashes are on the plane was on its last legs. Oh, this plane had been flown for 37 missions. The plane, it's like, you make all this money and you cheap it on that. You go out and you spend $100,000 at a birthday party or doing other stupid shit when you're out in Vegas or whatever. But you cheap out on the thing that's going to kill you, the airplane. I just don't get it. I don't. In 2003, singer-songwriter Maurice Gibb of the Bee Gees died at the age of 53 in a Miami hospital, Florida, following a heart attack during an abdominal surgery. The Bee Gees released over 20 albums and had the 1979 worldwide hit Spirits Have Flown and How Deep Is Your Love, Staying Alive, Night Fever, and the soundtrack Saturday Night Fever. They were all U.S. #1 singles. Gibb was married to the Scottish singer Lulu from 1969 to 1973. Maurice was made a commander of the British Empire, CBE, along with his brothers. Now remember, that was the one that Lennon gave back to the Queen, said, yeah, I'm not going to take this. I'm just going to give it all back to y'all. There's a great, there was a song that I was listening to during the Righteous Gemstones. It was Every Lion's Son. And I Shazammed it because I Shazam everything. So I'm like, what's this? What's this? What's this? 'Cause I'm just curious. I'm always curious. I'm a curious sort of lad. And it was the Bee Gees. So it's like this psychedelic song from the 60s that I'm like, wait, that's the Bee Gees? It totally does not sound like them. So it's Every Lion's Son, I think. But anyway, just, look for Every Lion's Something by the Bee Gees and listen to it. It's kind of cool. It's very groovy, very hippie, very 60s, not very Bee Gees. Just saying. That's my personal take on it. Anyway, Some things, unfortunately, are not forever as they're intended to be. It was announced that the Strawberry Fields Children's Home, immortalized by the Beatles, was to close. The home in Woolton, Liverpool, was made famous when John Lennon wrote Strawberry Fields Forever after playing there as a child. So unfortunately, things aren't always forever. Now, again, the Beatles, you have enough damn money, right? You wrote the song about Strawberry Fields Forever. You made money from that song. Why don't you put the money toward that beautiful place and help a children's home? That should have been the follow-up story, but it's not. It's not. 2005. The only one left is McCartney and Starr anyway at that point, so. Just saying. Toni Braxton in 2007 filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court of Manhattan against her former manager, Barry Hankerson, for $10 million, allegedly fraud, deception, and double dealing. That's when you take the cards from the bottom of the deck, double deal. I'm just saying. According to Braxton, Hankerson placed his own personal financial interests ahead of hers by using double talk to compromise the relationship between Braxton and her former record label, Arista Records. Manager steals money. Didn't we talk about this with, I don't know, Sting and the Beach Boys and countless other bands? The only ones you don't read about are the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones don't have management problems because it's really true, but they actually look, Mick Jagger looks at receipts for everything. He micromanages their expenses from what I've been told. And you never read about them missing like a penny or a pound because it's British. Because he is on top of that. That man makes sure that they make their money. Shakin' Steve was found guilty of hitting a photographer with a microphone stand during a concert at a hotel in Ballymena. The Welsh singer who scored a #1 hit in the 80s was fined $450 for assault and criminal damage in order to pay the photographer $600 to compensate for his damaged camera lens. Shakin' Steve, maybe Steve was just shaking. He didn't do it on purpose. He was just shaking. Shakin' Steve. He would just grab that microphone and just, sorry about that, whacking that photographer. Shit. Pilot error. I really, someone tell me how to fix this. It's a D5300 Nikon. I got the other one. See, this one stays on all the time. Right there. See, it's on. It doesn't go off. But this other camera, it just goes off, and I can't figure out what the fuck. I've tried the settings. I've looked at everything, and I just can't figure out why it doesn't. All right, back to that camera. Crap. Sorry. All right. In 2013, the 1974 Rolls-Royce that Freddie Mercury, until his death in November of 1991, used, sold at auction for $102,000 to a Russian businessman. The 62,000-mile classic Rolls-Royce, which had a guide price of just $10,000 to $13,000, featured gray leather, wood trim, electric windows, automatic gearbox, a car phone, a radio cassette player, and a 6.75-liter V8 engine. Damn, that thing had a big old boaty engine. It was sold as part of the Coy's auction at Autosport International. Man, 6.75-liter V8? Okay, that's a big motor. All right. And it was only listed for $9. That's nuts. That's nuts. Well, I hope the Russian businessman enjoyed his Rolls Royce. Yikes. All right. More shady dealings. Richard Carpenter of the Carpenters said he was owed at least $2 million in royalties for the hits he recorded in the Carpenters. He claimed Universal Music Group, UMG, had only paid the band a minuscule fraction of the money they were owed from downloads on sites like iTunes and Amazon. Wow, I've never heard that story before by anybody. The musician was suing for compensation according to legal documents filed in Los Angeles. What? Musicians only getting fractions of minuscule? What? How is that possible? I don't understand. You mean these big companies are making all this money off the backs of musicians? I'm shocked. Color me shocked. Really. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. And I only had to pay what? A couple $100,000 a year in royalties every year. I wonder where that money went. Possibly not to the musicians. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, let's see. We've got Ronnie Spector, not, the crazy producer. But this is Ronnie. She was in the Ronettes, Be My Baby, Baby I Love You, Waking Up in the Rain. She was married to Phil Spector, but this is Ronnie Spector. They broke up a long time before he became crazier. But anyway, she died at 78 on this day. Robbie Bachman, Canadian drummer Robbie Bachman, died at the age of 69. He was the younger brother of Randy Bachman with Bachman Turner Overdrive. You ain't seen nothing yet, baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. They were popular in like 1973 to 76. That stuff, let's see, that one died. Miley Cyrus released Flowers as a lead single from her 8th studio album, Endless Summer Vacation. Now, not to be confused with the Ramones' Endless Summer or Endless Vacation, because it doesn't say summer, it's just Endless Vacation. I got a badge from YouTube because that's the music format I listen to. I am the top 0.1% listener of the Ramones. I just throw them on sometimes and just let them just play through. So I was listening to the Ramones while I was doing some work. And apparently I've listened to a lot of them. Anyway, Miley Cyrus released Flowers as a lead single from her 8th studio album, Endless Summer Vacation. The song was a massive commercial success, setting several records and becoming Cyrus's biggest hit. It broke the record for the most streamed songs in a week on Spotify during both its first and second weeks, and it broke the record as the fastest song in Spotify history to surpass 1 billion streams with a B, doing so in 112 days. It debuted atop the global chart 200 and reached number 1 in 43 countries. This is in 2023. So not a Taylor Swift reference, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. And then on this day, January the 12th, 2023, American singer and songwriter and ex-Mrs. Lisa Marie Presley died at the age of 54. The only daughter of Elvis, she married Michael Jackson in 1994. The couple separated on the 10th of December 1995. She also married actor Nicolas Cage. Right, Nick Cage was married to Lisa Marie Presley. Lisa Marie had the UK number 16 single Lights Out. On her 25th birthday in 1993, she inherited the Presley estate, which had grown to an estimated $100 million. She later sold 85% of her father's estate in 2004. Now, we talked about that. Remember, that was sold to an equity firm who basically bought it. They bought the name, the rights, everything. She got to keep the house and a couple of other things, but sold all of the crap, everything. Even his name, the ability to use Elvis's name was sold to this firm. So Lisa Marie cashed out and then checked out. Sorry, I know. I'm a horrible human. It's all right. Sorry. All right. So that's the history stuff. I did find a couple other things. I've talked about this show enough times to feel like I know it, even though I never have seen it. Hullabaloo debuted on this date in 1965. Hullabaloo. I mean, it's a fun sounding word. Hey, let's go have a hullabaloo. It doesn't sound like getting into a brawl or anything. It sounds like getting like, let's go down and hullabaloo. Batman in 1966 premiered. This is the Adam West, Burt Ward Batman with the whole like sock, pow, blammo. The Batcopter and the Batmobile. Cesar Romero as the Joker. That Batman. So it premiered in 1966. Today. So 60 years ago. That's crazy. 60 years ago was the first Batman TV show. And remember Adam West? He was the mayor on Family Guy forever. He eventually died, but yeah, I always loved that Adam West was the mayor on Family Guy. I also found that in 1971, which I found this to be peculiar in its own right, in 1971, All in the Family premiered. It also happened to be the first toilet flush on network TV, like on network TV in history. Because that was one of those things, like they never showed bathrooms. Like in the Brady Bunch, you never saw a bathroom. Like Gilligan's Island, they never showed a bathroom. Like all these TV shows never showed bathrooms. And apparently All in the Family premiered on this day, and it also was the first time that there was a toilet flushed on TV ever. Which I think is great. Now you see bathrooms all the time, but it had to start somewhere. Censors were a little particular, apparently, I guess. In 1993, because this is the day the Rock Hall does all its stuff, the inductees. There was a whole list of all these different inductee dates and stuff, and I just said screw it, I'm not going to write them all down. I did give the one from 1993 though, because it was Creedence Clearwater Revival, Van Morrison, Sly and the Family Stone, Dick Clark, and The Doors. They all went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on this day, the 12th of January in 1993. Toilet flushes. Don't ask me, man. Don't ask me. All right, another concert to announce. This actually just got announced today. So I was like, all right, cool. Gavin Rossdale of Bush. The rock band Bush will hit the road in 2026 in support of their latest album, Beat Loneliness. Gavin Rossdale and company will launch the Land of Milk and Honey tour on April the 7th in Pittsburgh UPMC Events Center. This is a 20-stop tour of the U.S. with theaters and amphitheaters, including a stop at the Athenaeum in Washington, D.C., the Fillmore in Denver, and before wrapping at Franklin, Tennessee's First Bank Amphitheater on May 15th. Bush has also a handful of festival appearances, including one at Stagecoach. They also have an appearance, it looks like, as I look down the list, in Columbus, Ohio. So actually their last show is not in Franklin, Tennessee on the First Bank Amphitheater. It's actually on May 16th at the Sonic Temple Festival at Historic Crew Stadium here in Columbus, Ohio. So I will be seeing Gavin Rossdale and company in a few months. So if you're checking out Bush, you can check out their tour. It looks like... yeah, they're hitting most everything. Yeah, it looks like it'll be PA, DC, Brooklyn, Boston, Raleigh, Charlotte, Biloxi, Brandon, Irvine, Texas, San Antonio. They'll be at Stagecoach in India, Portland, Seattle, Salt Lake City, Denver, Oshkosh. That's a real place. I've actually been to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Bonner Springs, not Boner Springs. Hollywood, Florida, Clearwater, Florida, and like I said, Columbus, Ohio. So that's awesome. So yes, Bush will be coming. We will check them out at Sonic Temple. So excited for that. Can't wait to see that. Always, always, always loved Bush. The band. The band. Yes, right. Married couples have to have split beds. That's true. That is another true one. All right, births and deaths. Dun, dun, dun. Who's born today? Christy Alley from Cheers, and of course she was Lieutenant Savick in The Wrath of Khan. Khan. I asked Shatner to do Khan for me. He wouldn't do it. I was like, come on, bro. Seriously, just say Khan for me. Just give me a little Khan. He wouldn't do it. It's Shatner. I've met him a couple times. He's just, I gave him a jersey because he's a hockey guy, from the Columbus Blue Jackets. It said Shatner on the back. But yeah, I couldn't get him to give me the Khan. I was just like, come on. I was like, come on, Bill Shatner, say Khan. Just say God. They wouldn't do it. Jackass. Anyway, Howard Stern, 72 today. Oh, really? Okay, there you go. Oliver Pratt of The Bear and some other stuff is 66 years old today. Rob Zombie, 61 years old today. Gotta love Zombie. You saw him at Sonic Temple last year, I think. Just always so good. Gotta love the Dracula. Let's see. Heather Mills is 58. Sam Richardson, 42. Zach Della Rocca of Rage Against the Machine, 56 today. Dan Hessline of Jars of Clay, 53. Jars of Clay, those guys came and went, right? I mean, haven't heard their name forever. Not a word of Jars of Clay. And Sporty Spice, 52. Sporty Spice. The only other person that I found that died that I did not already mention today was Keith Jackson. Whoa, Nelly. Keith Jackson died at 89 in 2018. Whoa, Nelly. So there you go. There's history and some birthdays and a couple of concert announcements. Band of Horses touring this year. Nine Inch Nails touring this year. And Bush just announced today. So if you want to get out and get some tickets, go check out your Ticketmaster, pay your fees, and go check out some good concerts coming up. It looks like it's winding up to be a good concerty summer. I would tell you what country shows are coming, but I don't care. So I'm not going to. Sorry. I'm just not a country fan. It's just not my genre, man. Everyone's got their thing. I'm just not a big fan of country music. I didn't grow up that way. I grew up in New York. There wasn't a lot of opportunities for country music in New York City growing up as a kid. It was just not where it was, I guess that's probably has a lot to do with it. Your nature versus nurture. So my nature and nurture did not inject a lot of country music into my whole vocabulary as a kid. So I didn't grow up liking country music. What can I say? So my apologies to anyone that's a country music fan. All right. Well, that's it. It's Monday night. See, about 45 minutes there, Dude with Dog. Just like I said, right around 45 minutes. So it didn't take an exorbitant amount of time tonight. Let's see. Yay, first one. Woo! What's up, Bluesy Mystic? Damn it, missed the Olympia delivered to many, many other bands. Yup. Even the Memlins. Yup, clearly, yeah. Maybe. So there you go. Thanks, Dude with Dog. I appreciate you. I see you have over 1,000 subscribers. So maybe you'll have to co-host. If you want to do a co-host one night, just let me know. We'll jump on here. I've never co-host, so you can be my first co-host. How's that sound? Dude with Dog. Because, Dude with Dog sounds kind of cool. So if you want to talk music one of these days, let me know. We'll talk music. Unless it's country music, I'm going to have nothing to interject. I don't have any country music info. I apologize for that. So go ahead and follow Dude with Dog and then jump back on. I do this every night at 11 o'clock. And, very cool. Because I've never done a co-host. So maybe we'll have to meet up a little early. I'll jump on a little bit ahead of time. We can talk strategy and we can talk music. All right? I love that. I'm going to add Dude with Dog right now. Dude with Dog, I'm following back. Look at that. Boom. Dude with Dog is now followed by me. Okay, there you go. Right on. All right, so that was episode 225 of Randsanity on this January evening, January the 12th, 2026. Hopefully the industry is coming out of their winter slumber, and we'll get back to some new stuff. Because, I've seen, a couple of concert announcements. That's good. Band announcements. We'll get some new releases going out there and get some info. I'll call and talk to my friends in LA and see what's going on. See what kind of fun and shenanigans we can get into the next few weeks and months. All right? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please remember to like, subscribe, follow, watch the damn videos on TikTok, for God's sakes. I'm stuck in 300-person jail, and it's making me batty. So, yes, like, share, follow, subscribe, whatever, all those things. Push all the buttons. That's what we have to do. All right? Brilliant. Besides that, I'm going to move my camera and head over to this one. That way I can look right at you and say thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I am genuinely grateful that people come and actually pay attention. And I just don't do this for myself in my little studio basement. And I enjoy doing this, so I'm glad that you're enjoying it too. So thank you guys for spending your time with me. It truly means a lot. I do hope you have a fantastic Tuesday, and do something nice for someone for no reason whatsoever. Just those random acts of kindness. Just because. Expect nothing in return. That's the only way we're going to make things a little bit better right now. Just little random acts of kindness. That's it. Like holding the door for someone when they've got an armload of groceries. Like the guy that was at Lowe's today who let me cut in front of him. I had one item, and there was this, he kind of walked up the same time, and he had like, I don't know, like an entire basket of crap. And he kind of looked at me, and I was like, go ahead, you're in front of me. He goes, you just have that? I'm like, he goes, no, go ahead. I was like, bro. I was like, I feel you. I said, thanks. Checked out. And I was quick, too, because I'm like, boop, 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 walked out. I'm just like, I looked back and I gave him the, thanks, man. He was like, cool. So, see, random act of kindness made my day. Enough so that I remembered it hours later, because that saved me a long wait for nothing. So do good things, and good things will happen. Be well. Thank you. We will, in fact, as always, fade to black. And the stream.